Um, Tennessee at Kentucky. I think this is a pretty interesting matchup.
Mhm.
Uh, Tennessee is heartbroken, and I wonder about the attitude of this team right now a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I'm worried about their psyche. Um, as did you not to change the subject? Did you hear what Dabo said about? They asked about the psych having a psych doctor on staff
No, I didn't see that
for
one.
Clemson. My goodness gracious, he had to come out and apologize for it, and I'm not trying to get off on a Clemson thing here, but real quick, this is pretty funny. So, a reporter asked him, said, after a loss like that, does Clemson have, people to talk to, like sports medicine, mental focus type doctors and things like that? And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, we sure do. We have all kinds of stuff like that, and they're probably on suicide watch right now."
Wow.
No kidding, dude. He said it,
Read the
and
room, dude.
yeah, man, and, so he had to come out yesterday or the day before, and the reporter's like, "Do you wanna add anything to that?" And he said, "Yeah, I would like to add something. I'm really sorry, because that was a really poor attempt at humor, and blah, blah, blah." So, um, yeah, yeah, anyway, so I was just thinking, speaking of, psych doctors and the psyche of a team, um, Tennessee Tennessee season is on life support, honestly, to attain the goals that they felt like they could attain this year. Um, this is a big game, and it's on the road, and Kentucky is gonna be a hostile environment for this game right here.
Yeah.
Um, Kentucky's run game has been what's been able to push them through this year, and is really the calling card for a Mark Stoops team is leaning on the offensive line and rushing the football and stopping the run. So I don't know what the over under is on this yet, but I think this is going to be a pretty low scoring game here. I don't see I don't see either team getting over like 24 points in this game. I really don't. I think both teams are going to be really content to try to run the football and play field position, and I think that's the style of game it's going to be right here. Neither one of these quarterbacks is worth a damn, man. Leary has been extremely, I mean, he's been extremely disappointing for Tennessee this year. I think I can speak for all the Kentucky fans when I say that I've been really, really disappointed. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe they think differently. Let me know in the comment section what you think, because now I did have some Kentucky fans arguing that he was better than Carson Beck before Carson Beck lit them on fire. Um, so I don't hear anybody saying that anymore. But Leary's been pretty pitiful, and Kentucky's been pretty pitiful throwing the football around. And I don't think there's really a wide receiver to go to in this game. So I think Tennessee's got the best wide receiving playmaker in this game, and Squirrel White.
Mhm.
Um, it's going to depend on what what Milton shows up. Is it the Milton that showed up in the first quarter of the Alabama game, or is it the one that showed up in the second half? Right?
Yeah.
And which team is going to be able to establish a run game? Alabama ran for about 40 on Tennessee last week, and I consider this Kentucky team to be a better running football team than Alabama. So does that mean 200 yards for Alabama or for Kentucky? Because if it does, then I think that means a win for Kentucky.
Yeah.
Personally, whichever team hits 200 rushing yards in this game is winning. That's kind of like the what I'm looking at in this matchup. What say you on this one, and take us through the numbers and what you think?
Yeah, man, I don't know that we've seen since we've been doing our previews. I don't know that we've seen a more even matchup. And I don't know if people realize just how similar these teams are. Um,
Uh, yeah.
you look at Kentucky's number and their passing defense. Things got a little out of hand against Georgia. But Tennessee hasn't faced Georgia. They faced Alabama, but Alabama doesn't throw the ball like Georgia does. So when you look at Kentucky's pass defense, I'm not saying Georgia, knocked them down 50 slots or anything like that, but they put a pretty hefty number on Kentucky, and that also factors into their scoring defense. So, you know, when you factor in strength of schedule, I think these two teams are a little bit more similar than even the numbers would suggest here. And you know, that being said, you've got Kentucky at home here, and Tennessee coming off of a tough loss, kind of similar to the Louisville and Duke sort of emotional aspect, at least, of the game. You know, the home team has kind of not really had a whole lot going on, not had as much going on as the visitors. So maybe that gives that home team the slight edge. I think that this game is going to be very close. Look, these teams are very similar. They are, from a power rating perspective, I think that they're like on a neutral field. I would have them closer to like on a neutral field, maybe like 3 points for Tennessee or something like that. But hey, I think that this is going to be a really close game. You could go either way with this. I like what you mentioned in the under. It's the over under set at 51.5. I think that'd be the smarter play to play the under. These are two really good defenses and two offenses that like to run the football. So, very, very similarly built, which leads to a lower scoring game, a lower possession game, a lot of field goals, a lot of punting and playing field position. I think that's the kind of game that we're looking at. And, like a lot of games, whoever controls the football and doesn't turn the ball over is probably going to win this game. And I think that's what sort of game we're looking at this week between Tennessee and Kentucky. Look, to me, it's kind of a pick 'em. I'm going to go with the home team. I think that if you're looking for some plus money and you want to play the money line, I don't know what that number is right now, but I think that'd be a pretty good one to pick right now. Again, going back to the emotional loss from Alabama that the Vols face and Kentucky being the home team, I think that's probably the way that I would go with this one.
Yeah. Well, eh, I think part of the problem that Kentucky had, the more I've had to sit and think about it and watch the highlights and condensed version of the game and things. Kentucky had a hard time with Georgia because there was so many distractions going on the field. There was Brock Bowers over here. There was Rosemary Jackson over here. Then you had McConkey coming in once every 10 plays and catching, a first down. Just Arian Smith, you got to worry about him getting past you, although he can't catch the ball anymore. Um, you know, I don't think Tennessee's got that. I don't know if there's a lot of distractions in this game, and furthermore, you're not near as worried about Joe Milton hitting them. So, with all that being said, and this being, I think, going to be a really close football game, Vegas looks like what they're predicting this one to be about 27-24. That would be what, 51, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Something like that,
I
yeah.
I like Kentucky plus the points here. Give me the plus 3.5. Give me Kentucky in
Yeah.
that. Um, I really like them in the home situation here. Typically, being at home is worth 1.5 to 2. So really, what Vegas is giving you a line is minus 5.5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm taking the home team here. There's 0% chance that I think Tennessee is going to win by 5 or 5.5. You know what I'm saying? Or 6 points.
Yeah.
I can't see it happening, man. This ain't your grandfather's Tennessee team, and it ain't last year's Tennessee team. That's for sure. And if it was, Tennessee beat the ever living bejesus out of Kentucky, and they're
Yeah,
not
they
going to do
would.
that. Last year's Tennessee team would absolutely dismantle this Kentucky team, but that's
Especially if
not.
they had this year's defense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, last year's Tennessee offense with this year's Tennessee defense, they'd have
They
been in
would
the
have
playoff last year
well, yeah, or they
instead of
would have
Ohio
beat
State.
Alabama last week.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. Um, I think keys to victory for Tennessee in this game. Like I said, I think you need 200 yards rushing. The the key for Tennessee is always 160 yards rushing. You can that's like a watermark for this team, right? That's the minimum they can rush for and win. It's like science, okay? Don't be a fool. Trust your science, okay? But I say science because it's basically proven. Whichever team hits 200 rushing yards in this game, they're going to win this game. Both teams hit 200 yards rushing, we're in for a damn slobber knocker, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.